If you keep having the same argument in your relationship, it's probably not about the argument. And if we keep doing the same thing, we usually get the same results. And honestly, it just starts to make you feel frustrated and a little bit crazy. And this shows up in a lot of relationships, especially with someone you care about. You're with that person because you love them. And I'm talking about romantic partners. It could be your relationship with your parents, your kids, extended family. The relationship matters. And that's exactly why the same conflict keeps coming back. And it's usually not random. Most of the time, one or both people don't feel fully understood. So the conversation comes back in a slightly different form, almost like it's trying again to finally feel heard. Like maybe this time, if I say it this way or say it a little bit louder, then maybe the other person will get where I'm coming from. And it kind of reminds me of a kid at the grocery store. And if you ever brought a kid, in various ages, usually the younger kids, to a grocery store, it is very sneaky and kind of evil if you haven't noticed that they put all of the candy and other junk that you don't need right where the cashier is when you're checking out your groceries. And so imagine that your kid or some kid is there and they can't help it. I mean, there's like Snicker bars and and gum, all sorts of delicious sugary things right at eye level for your kid to see. And so imagine the kid is telling you or mommy or daddy, I would like this candy bar. And most sensible parents would be like, no, this is like not the time for the candy bar. And imagine that the kid's like, I don't like that answer. And I don't think you really understand how delicious this candy bar is and how badly I want it. So maybe this time around, I'm just going to say it a little bit louder. Maybe I need to pull on your shirt to get your attention. And maybe I just need to roll around in the ground crying and screaming because that will really get your attention and you would finally understand how important it is for me to get this candy bar. So it's kind of like that, a tantruming kid at the grocery store. Those ways of upping the ante and saying it differently and more is kind of that type of pattern. But because the pattern underneath hasn't changed, because the kid clearly doesn't feel understood, the result is often the same frustration, defensiveness, and no real resolution. No one feels heard and understood. It's kind of like two people dancing together, but each person has their own headphones on, listening to completely different music. If you can imagine that, two people dancing to their tunes, but one party is playing some hip hop music and the other person's listening to country, like not the same music, but they're both trying to dance together. So from your perspective, listening to your headphones, your steps, your rhythm totally makes sense. You're the one moving in sync with the beat, with what you're hearing. But your partner, this other person, it just feels confusing, even frustrating because, well, they're moving to a completely different beat. And the more each person tries to correct the other, like, no, you need to move a little faster, or you need to step over to the left more, the more out of sync the dance becomes. What counseling does is it creates a space to slow things down, take off your headphones, and actually understand the music the other person has been hearing all along. And that's where things start to shift. Not just being heard, but actually understanding each other. And that's how our love becomes something the other person can finally feel. That is real communication. Choose Better is about making decisions based on how you understand yourself and the perspective of your loved ones. Because it's not just about avoiding conflict or getting into conflicts, but using our differences to build relationships that feel aligned, connected, and meaningful.